Hello, dear students. Um, we're going to continue explaining the lesson of the active and the passive voice. And if you remember last time, I told you that the active and the passive voice, both of them are used to convey the same meaning and the same idea, but but in a different way. Sometimes it is confusing for some of you to know whenever to to figure out whether to use the active or the passive voice. In the previous session, I have discussed with you the difference between both of them and the form, the structure of both of them. And if you remember, I told you that we have something tricky in the structure of the passive voice, especially, which is the verb, the form of the verb. Yes, we stopped here. Yes, we said that when you change from the active to the passive, there we have some change. We do some change in the verb itself, the structure of the verb, but we keep the tense as this. And I give you this example for the exchange that happened. I know this was not enough. Today we are going to explain in details the change that happened to the verb when we transform from the active to the passive voice. Look at this table. This is the tense change in the passive voice. Look at this table. Here I have the tense in this part, in this column. I have the tense in this column, and here an example, a sentence in the active voice, and a sentence in the passive voice within the same tense. The tense here, let's talk to the present simple. You know that the present simple, it is do or does according to the pronoun that is used. The example here, they make cars in Germany. They is a subject, the doer. Make is the verb, the action. Cars is the object and the recipient. To remind you, in order to change to the passive voice, we have to start by the recipient, and yes, the recipient, we change it to be the subject of the sentence. So we'll start by the cars. Fine, and they, which here, they here act like a subject and the doer of the action, we changed into an object, although this is still the doer of the action. So this will be the change that will happen. Cars are made in Germany. Look at the difference that happened between the two sentences. In the passive voice here, I started by cars. This is which was here an object. I changed into a subject, but it is the recipient of the action. Which action? Made. Yes, making it. What happened? We have here the verb was make, and it changed into are made. Yes. In the passive voice, this is the form of the verb. It is verb to be in the present, which is am, is, are, followed by the past participle of the verb. Yes, that's here. That's here in the main sentence. Our verb here is make, and as we said last time, we have for make, we have three forms of the verb. The basic form, which goes in the present simple. The second form, which is the past one. And the third form is the past participle. So make, the three forms is make, made, made. So it will be cars. Take care that the present, the verb to be here goes with according to the new name or the new pronoun. We have cars here is plural, so it will be cars are made. Made is the past participle of make in German. What about the present continuous? When you speak about an action that is happening during the time of speaking. And the form of the present continuous is am, is, are, followed by a verb with ing. So I choose do in all of them to be like a symbol for the verb. A verb plus ing. The example is mother is baking a cake. Mother is the subject, it is the doer. Is baking, this is the verb or the action itself. A cake, an object or the recipient. In order to change into the passive, which will start by a cake because this will be my concern. I'll change the subject, the object here into a subject, although this is still the recipient of the action, which is baking. To be a cake. So what is the change will happen to the verb, the form of the verb? Yes. A cake is being baked. A cake is being baked. What the change that happened that? Yes.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
It is am is are. Am is are followed by being and the past participle of the verb, which is done here. Do, did, done. As I told you, do here is a symbol for the verb. Our verb here is bake, and the past participle would be baked. It is bake, baked, baked. A cake is being baked by my mother. Yes, by my mother. The past simple. Speak about something happened, yes, in the past. Our verb is did, the second form of the verb. The example, Martin Luther King wrote, I have a dream. Martin Luther King is the subject. Wrote is the verb, is in the past tense. I have a dream, this is the object, the recipient. I mean the speech itself. In order to start by I have a dream, if it will be my concern, I'll start by it to be the subject, although it is the recipient of the action of writing. So to start by have a dream was written. What happened here? The change that in the present I use am is are followed by the past participle, but in the past simple I use was or were, which are the past of the verb to be. Was or were followed by the past participle too. So I have a dream was, because was it refers to the speech, a singular. Written, the past participle of write, wrote, written by Martin Luther King. Please note that in the passive voice, if I'm adding or if I am having an object, which is the door of the action, it should be preceded by, right? As long as you know who did the action. Past continuous. With the past continuous, you are speaking or describing an action that was happening in the past during the time of speaking. The structure of the verb is was or were followed by the verb with ing, like was doing or were doing. They were watching TV when I got home. They were watching, this is the continuous action. It was cut by a short action, which is me getting into home. They were watching TV. They, the subject, the doer, were watching the action. TV, this is the object or the recipient. To change it into the passive, look at this change that happened to the verb. TV was being watched. Was being watched. It will go in the same way like the present simple, but we change the verb to be into the past. If you have notes here, it is am is are followed by being and past participle. Here the same. Was or were followed by being and the past participle, which is done. TV was being watched when I got home. Please try to memorize this table well and try to compare between the difference or the change that happened from active to the passive or from the passive to active, because this will help you a lot in transforming from active to passive or from passive to active. We still have another one. The present perfect, we use the present perfect just to remind you to speak about an action that has started, yes, in the past, but it is still continue to the time of speaking, or its results still can be seen in the time of speaking or in our present time. Okay. The form of the present perfect is have or has according to the pronoun, followed by the past participle, which is done. The example, I have cleaned my room. When I say something like that, I have cleaned my room, this means that I have just finished. This happened soon, minutes ago or an hour ago. It didn't happen a long time ago. And the results are still there. It means that if your mother opened your room, she will find that your room is so clear. I have cleaned my room. Have followed by the past participle of the verb clean. Clean is a regular verb, so it followed the rules of uh, the uh, the past participle, which is by adding ed. Clean, clean, cleaned. I have cleaned my room. Changing it into the passive, it would be have or has followed by been and then the past participle, which is done like my room. I start by my room. The object will turn into a subject, although it is still the recipient of the action of cleaning. My room has been cleaned. My room has been cleaned by me. My room has been cleaned by me. Please take care of the using the helping verb with the subject or the object, because sometimes I can start in the active voice. I start by a singular or the first person, and in the passive I start by a plural noun or pronoun. So in this case, you have to take care of using the helping verb according to the subject that you started your sentence with. Past perfect. Had was the past participle. Joe had read the book before he saw the film. The past perfect, something happened before the past time. So you can say that this is the oldest action that happened. It means that the past perfect happened before an action happened to you in the past. If you want to, and we use the past perfect when we are recounting events happen to you and you want to put them in order. So if you keep saying them in old past, your listener will not know which one of them happened first. So when you want to mark for your reader which action happened first in the past, so we use the past perfect as the oldest one, and then the past simple as the followed action. The past perfect is had plus the past participle, which is done. Joe had read the book before he saw the film. So which one happened first? Yes, reading the book, and then watching the film or the movie. Joe is the subject and the had read is the verb, the book is the object. I want to, yes, my concern is the book. So I start by the book, had been read by Joe before he saw the film. The change that happened, yes, the change happened here is been. I add been here, been here between the had and the past participle. Future simple, which will do. They will write, speaking of something will happen in the future. They will write a test paper tomorrow. They is the subject, will write is the verb, a test is the object or the recipient. To start by a test, this means that I'm changing into the passive. A test paper will be written by them tomorrow. A test paper will be written by them tomorrow. What did the change happen? Here in the active, will is followed by the infinitive form of the verb. Will write, will read, will go, will eat, will play. Will all the time is followed by the infinitive form of the verb, the basic form of the verb. One, change it into the passive. Yes, we keep will as it is, followed by verb to be. Yes, but be here, as you know, verb be is all the time the infinitive because it is preceded by will. Will be written. Will be written. Written here is the past participle of write. Write, wrote, written. Going to also we use it to express something will happen in the future, and the difference that you are sure about this between will and go. Well, going here, you plan to do this, and you are sure that you are going to do it well. He is going. The form of the verb is verb to be and is are followed by going to, and of course after to the verb should be in the basic form. He is going to make a speech next week. This means that he has planned and he set the time and all the things. He is going to make the verb to be according to the pronoun he, going to make verb in the infinitive, a speech next week. Here is the subject, is going, this is the verb, make is going to make, sorry, this is the verb, speech is the object or the recipient. I want to start by a speech. This means that I will change it into passive. A speech, yes, is going to be made. Is going to be made. What happened? The change, yes. The change is be followed by done, or the past participle. Be followed by done. Going to be followed by the past participle of the verb. My verb is make, made, made. Going to be made by him. Another thing, changing the pronoun. Here is the subject pronoun. I change it here into an object pronoun because I changed it, the subject here into an object. So although he is still the doer, but in the according to the structure of the sentence, he here became an object. So I use an object pronoun. Finally, you know that, so I said it yesterday and I'll say it again today. You cannot convert from active to passive if you don't have an object. Like this example, I drank. I drank. I is the subject and drank is the object. Okay. Drank is the verb. I is the subject and drank is the verb. I don't have an object here because drank is a non-transitive verb, so it doesn't need an object to complete the meaning. So if I want to change into passive, should I say was drunk by me? Of course not. And vice versa, in the other side, I can transform or convert from passive to active if I don't have object in the passive. Why? Because this object should be turned into a subject later on, and if I don't have a subject, I mean a doer, so this means that I can't start start an active sentence. Exactly like when you said the sandwich is eaten. The sandwich is eaten. This is the passive sentence, but I don't have an object, which is the doer of the action. Who is eaten by whom? I don't have the by phrase. So if I want to start an active sentence, with which subject should I start with? I don't have, so I can convert this kind of sentence to. So both of them are the same. If I have an active sentence like this, and this doesn't have an object, so I can convert it into passive. And if I have a passive sentence and doesn't have an object too, I can turn it into active. So without an object, we cannot explain who will complete the project or the task itself. Fine. Now this is the time for the quiz, and don't worry, it will be a live quiz together. We will do it together here on time. But this will be in the next video, inshallah. See you again. Thank you for listening. I hope that this video was helpful and useful for you. Okay. Fine. Thank you very much. Bye.